It's a mesmerising journey across a featureless landscape. The focus required is exhausting.
It feels like you're not getting anywhere. It seems like you're going forever.
And then, out of nowhere, signs of life.
You can see that tower over there, that's the township, and you don't really get to see it until you get right up on it.
Cook. Population 4.
Just pulling down the loop now and pulling up to our fuelling station where we'll start to fuel the old girl.
Although named after Australia's 6th Prime Minister, today it's little more than a fuel depot.
Well, we'll put 12,500 litres in, so a combination of 25,000 between the two locos.
It's the end of the line for Scott and Jamie. They'll rest here and crew another train coming through tomorrow.
There you go, mate.
Taking over are Greg Haywood and Adrian Swanson.
Right, let's get out of here.
Now we're on the move.
Yep. We're not getting very far, though, because we've got to get a crossing loop up at Denman, which is the next location out of Cook.
Greg soon has to stop to let another train with priority pass by.
If someone put me out there about a kilometre out and turned me around, you wouldn't have a clue where you were. As you can see, it's just nothing.
He's on foot to do a visual inspection of the other train, known as a roll-by.
You'd be watching out for snakes around here. Anything unexpected. You just never know. That was a little one.
Greg is a long way from home, but the passing train has left him a way of feeling a little closer.
That train that just went through, one of the drivers, he would have thrown off a couple of newspapers for us to read on the way. We've got to know what's going on in the world. We're out in the middle of nowhere. Probably got another 450 kilometres till we get to the western fringe of the Nullarbor. Yeah.
We won't see the edge of the Nullarbor. A lot more or nothing. A lot more or nothing.
It might be an empty landscape, but the line is busy. Being heavy and slow is causing them problems.
We're an 80k train, you know, so all the high-speed freighters get priority.
Already 3 hours behind schedule, and with multiple oncoming trains all requiring roll-by inspections, the men are in for a long night.
You'd use hand signals if you, say you're in a yard like this and there's a couple of different crews prepping locomotives.
Back in Lithgow, New South Wales, Tom Halligan and his basic training buddies must now master manual signalling.
Get you to give him a caution hand signal.
You can't always use a radio to communicate with the driver. You definitely want to make sure that the hand signals are given clearly.
Each candidate will take charge of directing an 81-tonne loco and its driver, Jason Connolly.
I rely on them as a driver. They're basically the lifeline. They tell me what is happening and I respond to everything they do. Basically, you've got a stop signal, you've got a caution go away signal, means go away slowly, you've got a caution come to me.
Definitely 100% important to get the hand signals correct because miscommunication can lead to an incident.
But it's not as easy as it looks.
There's a lot of pressure on getting the right hand signal. It's the first time we've all done it. A bit nerve-wracking.
Some of these guys have come off the street with no railway experience. It's a massive information overload. They might be a little bit lost.
Now it's Tom's turn. He soon discovers it's not hard to get the basics wrong.
So you're happy with that? Is that how it shows you in the book?
It shows side-ons, but I wasn't sure whether you...
The trainees have had a look at the hand signals in the book, but looking at them in the book and then doing them first hand with the locomotive moving around, it's could be a little bit daunting.
Does it matter, obviously, what hand I use the signals for, depending on what side of the track I use?
As long as it's clear.
Okay.
Yep, that's how we want to do it. So I think he did okay. He certainly presented as though he was confident and competent in what he did. I'm happy to sign off on the practical components that he did today.
But there's no time to relax. Tom must prove he's retained the basic training information by sitting a written exam.
Obviously, it's the final exam. It's a bit more pressure. With the knowledge that I've gained over the last couple of weeks, it should be doable.
Let's do it.
Possibilities of these candidates failing this course are quite high.
Failing here could mean Tom's driving dream is over. The Craigieburn Maintenance Facility in Victoria is up against it. The metro system is currently running on schedule, but the facility manager, Grant Jasper, is running out of backup trains. Lose any more, and it's crisis time.
Once I get to the third train fallout, I'll be under-servicing what I've got there. So it just adds the extra pressure to make sure that we've got 185 trains at peak, ready to rock and roll.
But this train needs an E-exam or major overhaul. The pressure is on.
You're going to isolate it now? You're going to isolate between the cars?
No, just isolate the airbag now.
An E-exam is no quick grease and oil change. It includes replacing the 10-ton bogies.
We drop the bogies where the wheels get overhauled, brakes get overhauled, check hoses, check shockers.
First, they must be detached from the carriages.
What we're actually doing now, we're taking the kingpin off. The kingpin is a part that actually holds the bogie up to the train.
They need to move fast. The bogies must be taken 130 kilometres east by truck for reconditioning.
So all we have to do is lift the bogies onto the on the semi, and he's ready to go to Ballarat.
Watch your fingers.
The first bogey's kingpin is off, but the second one is giving the boys trouble.
Watch out, John.
With the clock ticking, this delay is the last thing they need.
All right. Pull it that way. You got it?
As you can see, where there's a will, there's a way.
Now the men can attack the kingpin.
Yep, we're ready to go.
The specially designed lift system will support the train carriage, while the bogies are lowered down.
We're going to go down slowly, making sure that everything's been disconnected. Okay?
Or will it?
Are we on there near us?
Go.
Not operating, buddy. No go.
The green light up in the distance there is for the next location. That's probably 20 kilometres away. Just goes to show you, like, the flatness of the Nullarbor plain. Your seeing distances are greatly increased.
Night time on the Nullarbor. Driver Greg prepares to meet another train under the stars.
The best tool that any driver can use on a loco is the counter, because it's too hard to judge the distances in regards to coming into crossing loops and of a night time. We used to get to the location board, hit the counter then. We know exactly how far we've got before we enter the crossing loop then.
Travelling at up to 115 kilometres per hour, a super freighter will be tearing past them within minutes.
Well, it is about 7 k's out now, so we'll wait over here out of harm's way. Milky Way, the Southern Cross, don't get a view like that in the city. This is one of the perks of the job. You know, you get to see Mother Nature at her best. You know, spectacular view like that, especially if you see a plane and you think, where are they going? You know, where are they from? that's him. He's gone, so it's time to unlock these points and we'll be on our way.
Greg and Adrian's 8-hour, 500-kilometre shift is over. Emerging from the sleeper car are drivers Con
Thank you very much.
No worries.
and Dave. They'll take the train across the final stretch of the Nullarbor and back to the edge of civilization.
And now I've got the old girls to look after. We train so long, you know, you're sort of planning ahead, 5Ks ahead and that kind of stuff.
But they face a challenging section of the track.
We got what we call Goddard's Creek.
Yeah, this one is a very steep descent.
Once you come over the top of the hill, you're not concentrating, you can sort of go from an 80k train up to a 120k train in a matter of minutes, you know.
You have to concentrate to keep the slack at the minimum. Otherwise, you have load shift, you derail, and that is when it becomes catastrophic. This stage, we turn the lights so Dave can concentrate more on the descent.
The weight of the train basically can't be held back, just pick up too much speed, so needed to apply the brake with dynamics to help slow the train down, and hopefully that will hold us all the way down until we get down to Chifley.
With 50 years of driving experience between them, the boys bring the steel train safely down the grade. By dawn, they're across the border into Western Australia and are heading into the historic gold mining town of Kalgoorlie. Population 30,000.
Home sweet home. Always love to see the lights of Cal. Best place in Australia and the world, really.
Driver Hilton Hinchliffe will take the 5,500-tonne steel train onwards into the vast wheat belt of Western Australia.
We go through the centre of Kalgoorlie, just around here.
But first, he must negotiate his way out of the busy town and its morning traffic. Suddenly, he's seeing red where it should be green.
Yeah, mate, I think it's in red. I had the yellow.
But track control say it's a malfunction and he must proceed.
Make sure that the safe equipment's operating and lights flashing in the road traffic, thanks.
On the red, you've got to go through.
Hilton prepares to run the lights.
Of all the times for this to happen.
Yesterday, trainee driver Tom Halligan sat a written exam.
I passed the test. There was a couple of curveball questions in there. The next step, you know, put to practice what we've learned.
He's now a certified third assistant driver and is taking on his first real railway assignment. On-the-job training can begin. Today, he'll be helping take a coal train 300 kilometres east for loading. Overseeing him is veteran driver Greg Yeaman.
What Tom needs to do is always be careful and take your time and watch what you're doing.
As a third assistant driver, Tom must learn how to be a second assistant by shadowing Matt Allen.
My role today is to communicate with the driver Greg and make sure we are both on the same page as to what the signals are showing. With Tom, I'll get him to do it, and if he's all good, I won't have to intervene much.
Well, you never really know what's going to happen on a run, and so you just have to be prepared and know what to do in different situations.
2 hours later, they near the coal facility. It's the second's job to guide the driver off the main track and clear of the points.
It's quite a tricky job when the train's moving and check everything.
Tom has to make sure that he's got this distance is right, has to keep in contact with you every 10 seconds to make sure you know where I am and where he is.
And would you count every wagon down?
I'll go 10 to go, 8 to go, 6 to go, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Catastrophic occurrences can happen. If he doesn't call at the right time and make the right judgment of distance, can lead to a derailment of some sorts or a crash into another train or wagons.
That's it.
And Tom is already struggling to keep count.
I think we're about 8 now.
6.
6 to go. 5 to go. 3 to go. 2. 1 to go. Bogey. Red line, Greg.
You're right to come back towards me.
Points are set for the neck. We have the dolly. You're right to proceed back, Greg.
No worries.
Just got to keep pulling him back every 10 seconds. Yeah. Make sure he hasn't run you over. Just let him know you're all good.
All good. Keep him coming.
Finally, loading has commenced.
Yeah. Just stay here at Tama and you're doing pretty good, mate.
Thank you.
You're not letting your nerves kick in, which is very good.
Today I didn't really know what to expect. Luckily, I had some good guidance.
You got to be confident in what you're saying over the radio as well. Like 2 to come, you can't just mumble.
That was my problem when I first started. I wasn't confident.
Yeah.
But over time you get confident.
With you here helping me, it's been great.
That's it, mate.
45 minutes later, and driver Greg is set for departure.
The total load of today is close to 5,000 tonnes of train and coal. I think Tom did really well today for his first time calling trains back. It can be a quite nervous time for people. He did quite okay.
Tom has made it through his first assignment.
I haven't come across one of these before.
But soon, he'll be on his own in the cold, dark night. At the Melbourne Metro train depot, John and Russell are flat out getting a train back on the tracks. Without it, the network is in danger of running out of rolling stock.
We're in a hurry, but we don't try and make the job unsafe.
But in the middle of this major overhaul,
No go.
the multi-million-dollar lift system is dead.
It won't move. Nothing can operate. You can't go up, down.
Come up with the alarm, module east, emergency stop alarm.
I know what it is. You've hit the emergency stop button, John. It hit that by mistake, that's all.
Happens.
So now we should be able to rectify it, which is all up and running.
Right, Russ?
Yes.
Russell and John begin lowering the bogies.
I'm just making sure that everything's been disconnected, including the electrical as well as the mechanical stuff.
Well, you can cause big problems where if that gets stuck, it's not going to let the bogie go down. So you can just hear a massive bang. That's why you've got to keep your eyes open.
Any mishaps will only add time, something they don't have.
What you're trying to do, you're trying to get the trains out because, like I said, the public need them.
Finally, the last of the 6 bogies are down.
We take them down to where the crane is. And what happens there, the truck comes in the morning. We try and get everything ready for him. So all we have to do is lift the bogies on the semi and he's ready to go to Ballarat.
They got it done just in time for the end of their shift. Night rolls into morning. Thankfully, the semi arrives on time to deliver the new bogies and take away the old ones. It's a critical operation. The crane has to move cautiously, and workshop supervisor Russell Stafford knows why.
The motor car bogies weigh 10 tonne, the trailer car bogies weigh 8 tonne, so if you go a little bit fast and stop all of a sudden, the actual weight gets a bit of a swing up, so we've got to be very careful.
Then, right in the middle of unloading,
It's on travel west for some reason.
with the crane not operating properly, all unloading comes to a halt.
This doesn't happen very often at all. No one goes to work thinking they're going to pass a red signal.
On the 5,500-tonne steel train, driver Hilton Hinchliffe, against all his training and instincts, has been told by control to run a red light.
So he said there's a fault somewhere.
Sierra authorities past 78, signal stop in accordance with the rule.
But the signal is at a road crossing, and the boom gates are also malfunctioning.
The boom gates come up of all the times for this to happen.
Luckily, no cars attempt to cross.
Yeah, control, the lights were operating, but as I was right on top of the crossing, the boom gates come up.
Yeah, okay, all right, receive that.
For Hilton, it's an unnerving experience.
Yeah, it just makes you get an adrenaline rush, you know, you think, oh.
At last, he gets a better view.
That's what I'm looking for, my favourite colour. Green. Yeah, it looks like they're good for me. I only made a good green and a yellow.
A few kilometres up the track, the steel train's second-last driver, Garrett Greenham, is ready to take over.
George Clooney handing over to Brad Pitt. But
His destination, Merredin, in the heart of the Western Australian wheat belt.
Hopefully it'll be green lights all the way.
But out here, boom gates are rare. Cars must cross the track without warnings.
This crossing up here is a mine crossing. Cars and stuff and trucks, yeah, they run the crossing fairly often, especially when they're in a rush to get home. A lot of close calls.
Done a lot of Western's grain runs, done a lot of the overnight trips, done a bit of coal. It's been a really good experience.
After 2 weeks of long days and even longer nights, wannabe driver Tom Halligan has impressed enough to be moved up to the final stage of training.
It's been pretty intense. There's so much that can go wrong in the rail industry. So much damage can happen. You can get very badly injured or killed if you don't do your job correctly.
This will be his first shift as a designated second driver. If he gets this right, he can join the club and start his train driving career.
There's a lot of responsibility with becoming a train driver, but it is very satisfying.
But it will be up to first-class driver Steve Proctor to make that call.
The significance of sitting next to Steve is to prove to him that I can do my job correctly and he can trust me as a trustworthy second person on the ground, and that I'll do everything safely.
He's been assigned a coal run, hauling 5,000 tonnes across the iconic Blue Mountains, through Sydney and then onto a power station on the mid-New South Wales coast.
Righto, Steve. Points are set and checked. You're right to set back.
With the train hooked up, the next job for the rookie is to make sure the air brakes are working, all the way to the rear wagon. But Tom's inexperience becomes evident when he discovers that not all trains are the same.
I haven't come across one of these before. Hold on 1 minute, please, mate.
After a struggle, he releases the excess air and reconnects the hoses.
That's it.
But something's still not right. The air is leaking.
Making sure the rubber seal's all right, so we get a nice connection.
Left unchecked, the leak could bring the train to a sudden and grinding halt.
The train will drop its air, which will apply the brakes to the train. That's what we want to hear. Nothing. Don't want to hear anything out of there.
Quickly, and without testing the patience of his number one,
there you go.
Tom has solved the problem.
Okay, mate, you're right to return to the logo, buddy.
Righto, Steve.
The 5,000-tonne coal train can now depart for Sydney.
Yeah, 1.5, Tom.
Yeah, 1.5, Steve.
Tom must get on with the job of assisting Steve on the journey, being his second pair of eyes and ears as they roll through the night. Although Steve must assess Tom, he's also there to pass on the knowledge.
Always be careful when you walk on the track. There's always trains running around. They always say the train you don't hear is the train will kill you.
The more I do it, the more I learn. I think it's a great job and it's a great career. One ahead.
6 hours later, as the train approaches its destination, Tom is hoping he's done enough to get the final thumbs up from Steve.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to remember in this job. He's done pretty well tonight. He's helped me prepare the train and in Newcastle. Called all the signals that he's supposed to. He'll go far in the railway.
This is our office window, you know. We
It's a great part of the job. You know, we get to see some good scenery, and if you got a good mate, you know, you have a good time, and it's a great career, really. The next time you see me, hopefully I'll be on the left-hand side. I'll be driving, so it'll be good.
Maybe a good one, buddy. Let's get our bags and get home.
No worries, mate. All good.
As the son of a train driver, Tom is finally on track to take his father's dreams even further down the line.
He's very proud of me. Always wanted me to get into this job. I think it's definitely a job that I can see myself doing forever.
At Craigieburn, Victoria, the maintenance crew are grappling with a problem crane.
Oh, you just run treble west for some reason. Take it right up and I'll reset it.
With no heavy lifting capability, the new bogies are going nowhere, and the return of this train will be delayed.
So try and reset it. I'll give it a shot now. It's back on. Oh, it's got to go now.
The new bogies are eventually unloaded.
Beautiful.
John and Russell are back to start a new shift and finish the overhaul.
What we're actually doing now, we're moving the bogie into place, trying to line up the actual kingpin to fall straight into the middle of the bogie.
This is probably one of the most important parts because you've got the bogie going up. There's probably about 6 or 7 clinch points where the airbags are, the kingpin, you've got the levelling valve, so we've got to make sure we go really slow.
So you don't want to break anything.
You're in?
No, I'm not. Can you come down a touch?
Now, hang on, Johnny.
I'm just making sure that the kingpin's lined up with the bogie. All right, try now.
Just push the rubber, Johnny.
I'm in it. All right, we're on.
All right?
Yep.
In?
We're in, yep.
All right.
As you can see, I'm doing all the hard work. He's just got his finger on the button as usual.
The lift holding the train's weight is dropped and the bogie is given a final check.
No, it's all good.
It looks like the boys will make their deadline.
Good job, buddy. Well done. Watch your step.
Another Metro Rail train rolls out of the Craigieburn Maintenance Depot to help deliver 400,000 passengers across the network every day.
People ask the question all the time, what happens if you don't get a train out? It just doesn't happen. We can't let it happen. And look, the pride of the guys that work here is why that doesn't happen. And they'll move heaven and earth to get these out.
We want to keep them as safe as possible because at the end of the day, it could be my kids going on it as well as Russell's kids and your kids. So, yeah, we just got to make sure the job's done right.
Always blow the horn a fair bit at this crossing up here.
On the second last shift of a mammoth journey across Australia, Garrett is facing an ungated crossing where vehicles often run the gauntlet in front of the train.
A lot of close calls though, real close.
He's at the head of a 5,500-tonne steel train. A collision would be catastrophic.
I only had stop signs at that crossing and that didn't stop anybody, pretty much. We just come out of the bush and we're just coming into civilisation mainly.
After 350 kilometres, Garrett arrives in Merredin.
That's me done.
For the 23rd and final driver, Greg Tancred, to take the steel train to Perth. Its final destination.
We've got a couple of big hills ahead of us, a couple of trains to cross. That's our goal, is to be on time for the customer. Blue scope steel. Let's hope we make it.
But a famous passenger train, the Prospector, that services the goldfields of WA, is heading in the opposite direction.
The Prospector waits for no one. I hope it's not going to push us behind schedule or make us late. It looks like we're definitely going on the loop. Should be here in about 3 minutes. Going through like a flash of lightning. Lost a bit of time waiting for the prosy, so got a green out of Tamman now. We're on our way, and let's hope we make the time up.
Ahead is the final challenge before the end of the journey.
Basically, to get it over the top of the hill here, full power. You don't want to muck around and conserve fuel up the hill. Actually struggling a bit. It's a big climb up here, so hopefully we'll make it. Made it over the top of the hill, and no more obstacles, and we're going to be on time.
At last, after an epic non-stop 4 days and 4 nights, Pacific National's 23 drivers have delivered a 5,500-tonne steel train across Australia.
Successful mission, home sweet home, on time.
Soon, these locos will be heading back across the longest stretch of straight track in the world, a lifeline through the outback, bringing Australia together.